ask if you could use the chat function um, to just say hello and introduce yourself and let everyone here know the name of your business. And if you are willing to share any tools that you're currently using to support your marketing efforts for your business, that would also be appreciated, and would help us um, in customizing the content further. And if you're in the session at any point in time and have a question or want to raise an issue, please use the chat window to ask a question. I think Leslie said she was going to monitor that. Our team will monitor it as well. And also you can raise your hand using that function in the Zoom window at the bottom. And that will alert me to a question and we can break out of our normally scheduled programming. Okay, so the title of our presentation today is your 24/7 Marketing Intern. And this is a topic that we knew from the survey that we conducted back in December was of interest to businesses in St. Albert. In fact, we moved this session up on our schedule in response to that survey. One of the things we know about St. Albert, it's like the rest of our province. Almost 90%, 80 some 90% of businesses have fewer than 5 employees. And in fact, around 50% of small businesses have just one employee, a solo entrepreneur. And so the basic reality is that they are the chief everything officer. They're doing all the things all the time. And marketing is something that often falls by the wayside because it gets pushed out. And yet there are some tools that can really enable solo entrepreneurs or small businesses to operate much more effectively. But I want to spend a couple of minutes first just on some big changes that have happened in the last few decades that provide some context to what's going on in the marketing realm. So in the pre-digital days, it was all about a physical location and foot traffic and advertising. And it was oftentimes hit or miss. If someone heard about you, it was word of mouth, or if they just happened by, they walked past, it was foot traffic noticing you. And there was an old adage about marketing and advertising efforts was that it was kind of a spray and pray. You threw information out there and hoped it would reach the audience that you were trying to reach. Someone once said that over half of the money that they spent on marketing or advertising was wasted, but the problem was they were never able to determine which half. And what's happened in intervening decades is we entered what we call the attention economy. And this was brought about by cell phones and computer technology and cloud computing and social media, which created a lot of noise and a lot of pressure on businesses to be competing for eyeballs. And the internet, of course, enabled that to be delivered at scale. And it also created a lot of pressure on business owners to be present in their online forums and to connect with people further afield than purely their local physical location, and perform outreach activities that would allow them to connect with people in a broader geographic area. Now it's also easy to be drowned out in this sea of noise, and it can make you crazy trying to keep up with the need to be present on social media. And I don't know if people here in the audience have a sense of this. If just by a show of hands, if I could get any indication from anybody here, do you feel that pressure to be present on Instagram or Facebook or any of the other platforms that are available these days? Is that something that you all, yes, Jennifer says yes. Jillian says yes all the time. Perry says yes. I feel it myself in my business. I'm getting a number of thumbs up. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a reality of work in the digital age. The good news is that there are now AI-enabled tools that can help a lot with focusing that so that it's less of a, you know, scatter shot and more of a personalized and specific message. And there's even some tools that allow automated kind of scheduling of that based on a calendar. And later on in the presentation today, Rachel is going to show you how to create a content calendar. And then you'll have some raw materials that you can use to uh, uh, schedule the posting of that information, and it'll literally save you hours and hours every month. Now, it's important to mention in this transition that I've been describing to this age, this transition from the age of the pre-digital to the noise to the signal, that these aren't one era replacing the other. It's additive. They're being layered on top of each other. We still have physical locations and we still live in the attention economy. So that's a reality. But AI has now come along and can really enable some important capabilities. And that's what Rachel is going to get to shortly here in terms of talking about how to create an ideal customer profile for your business that you can use to more effectively target information, outreach information to your clients. Okay, and very quickly, another really important concept. Um, this is a way to look at that transition from the physical storefront and the physical presence into the digital age, and now the age of AI. The biggest difference, as I mentioned, is reach. Our local businesses can now extend their reach to a much larger area. So you can, in St. Albert, extend to the greater Edmonton area, and if you offer services or products online, you can even conceivably scale to the entire globe. But we can't expect our past physical efforts to scale online. So we have to use the tools available to build trust differently. And AI powered tools can increase the precision of our connections, and other tools can increase the efficiency and effectiveness of our follow up with our customers. So we're not looking at these AI powered tools to replace human contact, though. And that's a really important distinction. We want to buy back time so that we can appropriately focus on the human side of the business and not on some of the overhead, administrative overhead in some cases, that chews up so much of our time. And the effects of increased personalization of our outreach can be really significant. It's been demonstrated that if you are improving your personalization efforts using some of these tools, you can get a 40% increase in conversion, and that translates directly into sales. So that's my brief. I hope I didn't go over too much time. I just want to introduce Rachel Ramkelawan. Rachel is a part of our team, and she is a senior product manager and an AI product consultant with more than 8 years of experience in driving product strategy, scaling platforms, and leading cross-functional teams across Canada and in Silicon Valley. She has a track record of taking products from 0 to 1, driving growth, and building sticky, user-focused solutions. Sprecta is a company that she's created and a product she's created and incubated to a prototype to a behavior-aware wellness platform, and it is integrating adaptive AI. She's previously worked with a large US-based educational company in the education sector, and she launched an AI-driven content platform that reached 100,000 users in under a month and drove significant boosts in engagement, retention, and conversion. Now, prior to that, she scaled a deep technology SaaS product at Verify through to acquisition, working with partners like Wiley and Oxford University Press. She has expertise in product vision and artificial intelligence, machine learning development, and customer-centric design, combined with a passion for building technologies that empower people to learn and thrive. And Rachel earned her Bachelor of Science in Engineering and a certificate in interdisciplinary leadership studies from the University of Alberta. Rachel is one of these young, brilliant people that is on our team. Her, along with Bhavneet Kaur from Lateki and Joelant Desai, that are giving Perry and I some silver-haired, experience, an important grounding in the new ways of the world. So I really want to thank Rachel for contributing her time and expertise today and being part of the team. So Rachel, you take it away.
Uh, Thanks, Jeff.
I'm going to
Thanks for
stop
that.
sharing my
Oh,
screen.
sure. Oh my goodness. As well, when you read that whole intro out, if you hadn't said my name at the beginning, I would have been expecting like Rachel to walk in behind me or something like that. It's just interesting all laid out like that. But no, thank you for that lovely introduction. And it's great to be here with you guys today. I have some really exciting content to go over. I'm going to share my screen because I understand, as Jeff mentioned earlier, that marketing is really top of mind. It's something that we are really, it seems as a group, as you know, as a community in St. Albert, as people who are very busy, we're looking for ways that we can optimize uh, AI to improve and enhance marketing and cause it to take less time and less, cognitive load from us. So I want to start with, as Jeff mentioned earlier, the ICP. So the question here is the last session, if you were here, and if you weren't here, I'll do a quick recap. We talked about how important it is to give AI the right fuel. AI is an engine, but what comes out is very dependent on the quality of the content that we put in to that engine. So that's your context, your documents, your business information, your website and knowledge to produce the kind of content that is right for your market. And so today we're going to put that into practice with marketing. And the first thing any good marketing strategy needs is the answer to one question, which is who are you actually trying to reach? And that's the ideal customer profile, the ICP. And that's where this comes in. So we're going to work on building this together. I'm actually going to share it in the chat if I can. Let me see if I can find the chat. Let me drop this document in. You're going to see a document just like the one I'm sharing on the screen here. Ba, ba, ba. There we go. I put that in the chat. I'm sending it along. You should be able to, there it is. You should be able to download it and open up your own copy of that sheet. Um, and so while you guys are downloading it, I'm just going to overview what it does. And then I'm going to ask us to actually work through and for your own particular business, start answering these questions and maybe even sharing those answers if you feel comfortable. So this is a ideal customer profile sheet or workshop that you can work through. We encourage you to work through the whole thing. It has two parts to it. Part one is you filling out and describing who is your best customer. Part two is building an ideal profile card, and we'll look at that. But when we look at the who are the just the layout here, we have some questions like describing your customer, what problem brought them to you. And we've also filled out over here some sample answers just so you know what this should look like. It's for a fictional landscaping company in St. Albert. And so you can sort of model your answers off of this just to understand what we're really looking for out of this. And so hopefully if you guys have had some time to download these, maybe just toss up a thumbs up in the chat if you're able to successfully download and open the document. Okay, I see some thumbs up. That's great. Thank you, everyone. All right, and so I want to walk through these. Maybe I'll do the first one as the example, and then I'll give you, we'll go to the second one and get some opportunity to get some answers from you guys. So the first one is for your ideal customer. This is a real specific person I want to highlight. This should be a person in your mind. It's not like, your median customer. It's not somebody who might walk into your store. This is the ideal person who's coming to your business, who is a champion, who loves your services, who's coming back, the ideal person that you can think of or you have interacted with, who is your number one champion customer, a pleasure to do business with, your person that you're targeting. And this is who we're trying to capture with this workshop. And so for our fictional business example or landscaping company, if we wanted to describe that person in one sentence, who are they? What do they do? Where are they in life? For us, this might be Sandra. She's 48. She's a homeowner in Lacombe Park in St. Albert. She works full time. She has two teenagers at home and takes pride in her yard, but she really doesn't have any time to maintain it. And so I'm curious, does anyone have an example that they want to put out for your specific business of who your ideal customer might be? You can drop it in the chat. You can turn off your mic and let us know. I'll give it a minute because I know that it takes some, I know it's hard to be a business owner and wearing so many hats and then jump from the micro perspective back out to the macro perspective. Um, oh, you guys weren't able to download it. Okay. That's unfortunate. If you want to maybe write down the answers, we'll also make all of these sheets available for download, and I'll go over that at the end of the session. There will be a site, a hub where these flyers can be found, and you can download. You will certainly be able to download them. I'm not sure what's going on with the Zoom chat. Sorry to hear that, guys. Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer.
Hi, good morning, Rachel. I am Jennifer Belcourt, and I own the Jade Village restaurant and pub in St. Albert. It's a Chinese restaurant here that's been around for about 45 years. This is a question I always struggle with. People say like, well, what's your avatar? Who is this person? And um, do you have suggestions? I obviously it's like who I see every day, but I find it really challenging to get it down to what you're asking. Any guidance on that?
You know what? That's a really good point. And as somebody starting a business, I can understand why, for a restaurant, it's like it could appeal to so many different people. For what I do, it's like, oh my goodness, well, everybody would want to use this, right? Everybody loves, who doesn't love Chinese food? I mean, honestly. I think maybe one thing that could help is if you have any information about, things like times of day that people come in, maybe they're the after work crowd or stuff like that, looking at your own data might be a good place to start to narrow that customer profile. But even if you pick, I would say, like, close your eyes, pick out the person in your head who you think is the ideal person, or from what you know and working in your restaurant is the person who walks into your shop. An example for a restaurant might be, okay, they are a working professional. They have a short lunch break. You want to focus in on the details of this person as much as possible. They have a short lunch break, their age, maybe they're 25 to 45 or in your area. Maybe they have a local, maybe they're local to you. And so, they were looking for a quick lunch. They, want to bargain because they eat out, many days of the week because they're too busy. It's kind of an imaginative process, this one. And I would encourage you to, it's something you might even want to do with AI. You can go to Claude, be like, okay, this is my business. I'm having trouble with my ideal customer profile. Help me to narrow it down. And it'll probably give you a prompt just like this. It'll say, hey, here are the details. What is their name? Pick a name. What is their age range? What do they do for work? And the great thing is, I would say you don't have to be right the first time. You could pick this out. You could look back at that profile and be like, oh gosh, I got it wrong, you know? And then dial it in. Oh, maybe they're not 25 to 35. Maybe they're more of the evening crowd. But I would say start with those details, start with what you know about your business and who walks in the door. And it looks like Jeff has some suggestions for you as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Rachel, that and Jennifer, that if you have a website, you can also um, include your website URL in a question to an AI, Gemini or ChatGPT, and ask and include this template and ask it to help you to fill out this template using your website address as another source of information, and you will get some really good ideas and suggestions.
It's a great idea. Um, And as we'll see, I think later in the segment, AI can be really great for helping to pull out and ideate around things that you're not sure about, just like that. It's really good at providing ideas. Maybe it would give you a couple ones, and you can say, "Oh yeah, this does sound like my ideal customer." Hopefully that helps a little bit, Jennifer. And then hopefully, if you download and you're able to try it out, you can come back and let us know if it worked for you, or let us know some of the things that you were able to try. Alrighty. Does anyone want to give a sample for maybe this one is a bit tricky to come up with off the fly. What about a problem that brought them to you?
There's there's
So,
there's a sorry, Rachel. There's a few in the chat. If
oh, are
you
there? Oh, thank
have
you.
been
Sorry,
offered
thanks,
up,
Jeff.
yeah.
I have trouble both sharing my screen and seeing the chat at the same time, so I'm gonna pull that window back open. Oh, great, lovely. Okay, hold on. Okay, so from Christy, we have moms within 25 to 45 that are concerned about hidden ingredients that are toxic for families' health, sold at big chain stores. They're looking for a natural, high quality products that work effectively. Oh, that's a really great one, Christy. It really narrows down your specific, customer, your product, the thing that they're looking for. Jillian, oh hi Jillian, great to see you in the chat. We'll be looking at some of Jillian's stuff later. Jillian says a middle-aged woman has a few physical complaints that have been checked out by a doctor, but they're not getting better. This woman is looking for something else to improve her health, is open-minded and curious to explore other health options. She has time and money to schedule multiple sessions. Okay. Oh, we've got one for the chamber, which is really cool. This is great because this highlights that it doesn't have to just be the traditional idea. Anyone that you're looking to market to or to send posts out to constitutes your ideal customer. So for the chamber, their ideal customer would be new business owners who are looking to grow their business and learn, and they turn to us for support and opportunities. These are all really great examples of the level of specificity. Oh, I see another one. Thanks, Lucas, for putting in your answer there. For flood and fire restoration, that's great. A property management company with lots of buildings in the Edmonton area, specifically older buildings. That's a great detail as well that constantly have maintenance problems. So these are really good examples of describing your customer and who they are, what they do. Really great things to think through that will give you high quality response out of your AI. Remember, that's why we're doing this, so that we put in this work right now so that our engine has great fuel to produce marketing content and other pieces of content that we're looking for. Let's do one more and see if we can get to what problem brought your ideal customer to you. So what was frustrating or worrying them or slowing them down before they had your business? There might be a little bit of overlap in what you mentioned. Don't worry about that. Just focus on this part of the problem. For Sandra, we remember this is our fictional landscaping company. She had hired 2 landscapers in 3 years who didn't show up consistently. She needed someone reliable who wouldn't leave her yard half done before a summer party. And so we'll do one more. Oh, Perry has a ideal customer. We'll read that while we think about some answers to question number 2. Older, retired. Okay, male. Educated. Lots of, okay, I see a sense of theme here. I think I've been to one of these meetings before. Lots of questions. Edmonton region, then Calgary. Online user and has made a donation without soliciting. All right. That's very dialed in, Perry, you know exactly what your group is. These are great answers, and thanks everyone for your participation. Anything on a problem that would have brought this person to you? And this is the last example we'll go over, then we'll actually get a chance to look at some ones before. Oh, Christy in the chat. Christy says, customers living healthy lives, but still experiencing health concerns and starting to look further into why. Oh, that's a great one. They start learning more about toxic ingredients in our everyday products. Absolutely. That's a problem that is becoming more and more common. Like not common, but it's something that people are becoming more aware of. So it feels great that you have like a growing set of people that you are able to identify and help with their problem. St. Albert Chamber says a problem a business owner would bring to us is that their business isn't scaling how they want it. Okay, they either aren't growing, they don't know people, or don't have opportunities to show the community who they are. Yeah, that's another great example of, the problem that you are specifically trying to solve. From Jillian, we see not seeing symptoms getting better and wanting to see actual improvements in their symptoms. I think that's a reasonable thing to hope for from health providing and a problem that a lot of people are facing increasingly after being checked out by a doctor. All right. I encourage you to keep posting your responses in the chat because whether or not we go over all of these here, this is something that hopefully you'll be filling out for your business to make a great tool for yourself. The other questions that we have here are for the who's your best customer is what do they value beyond price? For Sandra, this is reliability. This really matters to her. What almost stopped them from buying? She was skeptical about a seasonal contract because of past experiences. And how do they make buying decisions? Now, once you've filled these out, you would then create this profile card. And this is it has a primary goal, it has how they decide things, their biggest frustrations, and what they value the most. Now, You can see there's a deal breakers section. And if you've had a chance to speak to these people face to face and write down any feedback, you can also write about things from their own words. But now what I want to do is we actually had a wonderful volunteer ahead of time who filled out this whole profile for us so that you guys could see exactly what this looks like in practice. And so Jillian George, I wanted to thanks Jillian. Jillian works, she is a solo business owner. She works at the Compassion Center. This is her business. She's an energy healing practitioner right out of St. Albert. And she has a lovely business of helping people and guiding them through their health journey. And she was able to fill out this entire profile for her clients. And so you can see she went into, oh, I just have to, sorry, I have to move my overlay out of the way. She filled out all of these questions that we've just been going over. Her core client, she's described them, the main problem that brought them to her. So we've looked at some of these. I want to dial in on the second part that Jillian's provided, though, which is that profile card. They have a name, Claire. They have an age, 35 to 58, navigating a health or life transition. There's a location, St. Albert, Edmonton, or surrounding area. There's an occupation and situation based on these things, these questions that she's answered earlier. Their primary goal, that thing they're trying to achieve, is a way to feel better in a way that's deep and lasting, addresses the root. She has the biggest frustration, and how they decide. So I'll leave this up on the screen for you guys to read. There's a lot of content here. I want to particularly draw attention to things that will help with our AI model as well. One of these is deal breakers. These are things that for Jillian's clients, they absolutely wouldn't want to see because they're antithetical to the profile. And this is going to help in our model later on prevent us from generating content that wouldn't appeal to Jillian's market. And also in their own words. Any direct source material, a review that you've had, a customer walking in who said something specific, whether it's a compliment or something that they would prefer not, these are great things to add here. And once you've done this in your ideal customer profile, you can see Jillian has, in part 3, pitched an idea to run through this filter. So the idea being evaluated, she wants to offer a first session or introductory package at 45 minutes combination session at a reduced rate for new clients who've never tried this before. Now, based on that profile, we can ask these questions to see if this is a good fit for her company. Would her customer care about this? Yes, because her reviewers have said they weren't sure what to expect. This was a big barrier to trying this out for the first time. It's an uncertainty, and this can help reduce the friction for that barrier. Does the message match how they actually talk? It might, she's graded that in a maybe. The word introductory package, it's transitional for, a spa menu, not so much a healing practice, but she could reframe it slightly to be, curious about not sure where to start, and that would then help make it a better match. And so based on these questions, all of the questions that she's gone through that you'll have a chance to do, she found that the overall verdict is that this is a strong fit for her business to try out. It should fit her ideal customer profile, and she has a strong degree of certainty. Alrighty. Jillian, again, thank you for completing this. We have a couple more things to look at, and I do want to, let me check, keep note of our time here, keep us moving along. But like I've mentioned earlier, this is a great example of how we create the right fuel for our engine. Later on, we're going to look at how we can use this fuel to, once we've created it, generate content that is dialed into the ideal customer profile. But this is a critical part of making sure that we are ready to streamline and save time for ourselves down the road by generating content that is dialed into our ideal customer. So with that, I'm going to wrap up on the ideal customer profile and turn it over to Jeff for some other really great content that you'll find hopefully very helpful.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. And okay, so we're going to, everybody see that, my screen?
Yep.
So what Rachel was talking about was the who. Who are you trying to target? And I'm just going to make a little detour here before we get back to Rachel to talk about some deep research into Jillian's business and a prompt that you can all use to develop your own strategic and tactical marketing plan based on this ideal customer profile. But first, I want to chat about a tool that many people underestimate the importance of. And I've referred to it here as, kind of your 24/7 marketing intern. That's, I know, the broader title of the whole session today. But this is specifically about the Google business profile. And this is something that maybe if you can, in the chat, give me an indication of how many of you have an active Google business profile and how many of you have a Google business profile that is up to date. Can you indicate that in the chat for us? While you're doing that, I just wanted to mention that many people believe that a Google business profile is actually more important than a website. And in fact, it's kind of a digital gateway to your business. Um, and some context for the Google business profile. Google is a $3 trillion market cap company. It is still, even in the advent of AI and some erosion in its search business, still almost 90% of all searches on the internet happen via Google. When your company name becomes a verb, when people say, I'm just going to Google it, that's a very good sign for your business. It means you have really embedded yourself into people's practice and how they work and how they think. And that's the reason that Google is such a cash generating monster of a business. Probably something that you didn't realize is that because Google is able to generate so much money from their advertising, that's what's enabled them to create other moonshot type initiatives. So they also own YouTube. They also own Google Maps, which is a navigational way for the search result to end up at your doorstop. And it's also why they were able to fund purchases like DeepMind, which is one of the leading AI labs. And it's one of the reasons that Google is currently a leader in AI. And in fact, Google is the inventor of a technology that allows all of the AI stuff that we're talking about today to exist in the first place. If you know the ChatGPT, well, the T in ChatGPT stands for transformer. And the transformer, which all of these models are based on, was invented by Google in 2019. So they're only able to do all that because of their deep integration into the ad business. So your Google business profile, because of their dominance of search, is a digital gateway to your business. And that Maps integration is especially important. So unfortunately, a lot of people don't spend enough time or energy on their Google business profile. You're an individual employee might be able to work a certain number of days, but your digital intern, your business profile, is always there 24/7. And it can do what a person can't do. It can be there whenever a customer has a purchasing intent and is looking for something. That can be your first handshake, and it can be a gateway to your website. Okay, so in terms of the significance, if you have an up-to-date profile, if you appear in a search for a local service of some kind, if you appear in that top 3 group of search results, that translates into capturing 42% of the clicks that people make. And companies that have a complete profile, and I'll get into that in a moment, are 2.7 times, they're viewed as 2.7 times more reputable than by consumers. And if you have a fully optimized profile, it can actually drive a 70% increase in actual location visits. So what does that mean to say you have a fully completed profile? Well, one of the key things that you have to have is name, address, and phone number. That information across your online identity has to be consistent. Google indexes and captures all of this information, and inconsistencies can cause a sort of degradation in your search priority. So you'll have less of a chance of showing up if there's conflicts or inconsistencies in your name, address, and local phone numbers. And Google is looking for current information. So what they used to do with a postcard, used to get a physical postcard to validate your business identity. That's now transitioned to more digital proof of life, and so they look for geotagged photos. They can assess using AI. They can assess um, the truth of a photograph based on the location information. If it correlates with the business address you have, that's a sign in your favor that this is a real business. And they've also put more emphasis on verification, and that's why you're seeing in a lot of uh, search results on Google Maps, you're seeing video walkthroughs, which is another thing that Google looks for. If you have a physical store location and you can do a video walkthrough of your business, that will help to prove to Google that you exist and it's a real business. So one of the things that Google doesn't like in terms of prioritizing your Google business profile in a search is stock pictures. So if you have just you know Shutterstock or other just material, photos that you've pulled off the internet somewhere, those are not geotagged. They're not your authentic and verifiable pictures. And if you try to, stuff keywords into your description, that's something that Google also doesn't like. They're looking for natural language descriptions, and they're looking for reviews. If you have current reviews, that helps your profile as well, your site, to get attention in the algorithm and to show up in a search result. So the things that you can add. Oh, accurate accurate and up-to-date open and closing hours. And another thing that it looks for is if there is a coming stat holiday that you're going to be closed, it's important to keep that information up to date. So you don't have just your standard, weekly hours of operation. Update your calendar or your schedule to show that it's going to be closed on that date, because that again demonstrates to the algorithm behind the scenes that there's somebody actively operating this business, and that can help to get it to show up in that top 3 that you want to be in. And then the products and services listing. There's a place there that you can add a description of the services that you provide, and so that's important to keep up to date. And reviews from customers. There's a button I'll show you in a moment where you can actually copy a barcode that you can provide to customers. If you've made a sale, you can send it out by email. You can send them the link to a survey, and you can get a review, and then you can keep those up to date. And then if you get a review, it's really important from Google's perspective to respond to the review. Even if it's a bad review, a response that gives some explanation, that again is an indication to the algorithm that you're a real live business, and that you're intending to serve your customers, and that's something that can help them to prioritize your listing. A lot of people don't know that you can post to your Google business profile in the same way that you can post to a Facebook or an Instagram feed. And for those of you that weren't aware of this, you might be thinking, oh gosh, not another thing to post to. It's like, well, another task to complete. But this is important because you need to signal to Google that your profile is active, that you are active, and that you're a real business. But it's not as labor intensive as some of the other social media tools. If you post once a month, that's more than enough. I try for once a week on my Google business profile. And this bi-weekly Q&A section, you don't need to worry about that because they've recently discontinued the Q&A section that used to be there. So that's one less thing to worry about. But always respond to reviews. And if you need help in setting up your Google profile or optimizing it, there's resource through the Business Link Alberta that you can connect with that has some people that help with that. And if you want to reach out to me, just email me at my email address that's there on the bottom of the slide, and we can schedule a 30-minute kind of a Google Business Profile walkthrough to see what you've got and to keep it up to date. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop sharing this screen, and so I'm going to end that and then go to, where is it? Okay. And I'm going to jump here to just have to share a different screen. Okay. Can you see on the screen? This is Augmentus Inc. This, yeah. Can
Yep.
I? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So one of the things, this is my profile. I've only recently optimized this, but one of the things you can see here is this green circle. That's what you're trying to achieve, is that green circle. The green circle indicates that everything that Google needs for your profile is present. It's quite easy to navigate. It shows you there's an edit profile icon. There's a place where you can upload photos, and these are where I mentioned you want to be uploading photos that are actual photos of your business that are geotagged, so Google's AI can verify that these correlate with the business address that you published. You can create or add posts, as I mentioned. If I click on that, you can see on my feed, I've got from 3 days ago, I have something I published here in relation to this session today. And last week I did that twice as well. And last month. So I posted more content recently. And that shows up when people do a search for terms that surface your business. You can add products. If you sell a physical product, I don't have any, but under services, you can add the services that you provide. And those are important as well because that can correlate with search results. You can set it up to actually make bookings through your Google Business Profile. And as I mentioned, this ask for a review. If you click on that, you can copy and paste this barcode or QR code, and you can include that on a screen, or you can include it in an email, or you can send out this link, and then your customers will have a way to provide a review. And then if you get a review on your Google Business Profile, as I said, it's really important to respond to the review and thank customers for your review and address any issues that they might have identified. So that's a quick look at an actual Google Business Profile. And to get there, you just have to go to oh, I know what I wanted to do next. I'm sorry. I wanted to uh, I want to just show you an example using, again, Jillian's ideal customer profile to create a business description. I create a business description to be used in here we are. Now I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so what you should see on the screen now is the Gemini chatbot. And this is Gemini Pro. It's a pro version, but this is accessible to anyone out there for free. And what I've done is I've taken Jillian's Compassion Center her completed ideal customer profile, and I put in the prompt here, write 150 word business description for our Compassion Center Google Business profile. It should include our location, our specialty, and a reason why Sandra would choose us over a competitor. Not Next, write 3 Google Business profile posts for this month. One about spring services, one a customer success story, fictional, and one a tip to our customers would find useful. Now I'm going to take a chance here and run this profile live, and we'll see what it comes up with based on Jillian's um, ideal customer profile. And this is what it has produced. Jillian, I'll send this to you. And it's come up with this first business description. And this is something that you could paste into the Google Business profile, a personalized and ideal customer profile specific way of describing your business, so that when someone is searching, this would be a result that would be, for a service, this would be a result that would be more likely to show up. And then it's given some ideas for the Google Business profile posts that I was mentioning. Oh, you know what? I've screwed up here. I used Sandra. That's okay. All right. I've used the Sandra example from her profile, so it's got landscaping services. Okay, so this one didn't work out. Um, I think the first piece here is useful, but the specific examples below are misguided. So I will jump out of that. I think you get the idea. Next, I want to go to, I'm going to share my screen. And move on to Pomelli. Okay, so you can see my screen that says Pomelli on it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so has anybody in the room used Pomelli? Can you give me a thumbs up if you have or heard of it? Sorry, I can't. There it is. Haven't heard? Okay. So this is an experimental tool that the Google Labs have uh, recently introduced and now made available in Canada as well. Um, and one of the things that small businesses often struggle with is consistent brand messaging. And what Google has done is they've created a tool that allows you to extract your digital DNA from your website. So just by entering your website URL, it will extract your relevant colors, the typography, the tone, the messaging, the core values, and it will enable you to create content that is brand aligned, that is based on your actual information. And it takes about 90 seconds. I've preloaded one for Jillian's business to demonstrate that, and I'll maybe try another one while we're here from their main page, just to give you a sense of how quickly it works. And what it does is it takes this brand DNA and then enables you to produce an Instagram, a Facebook, or a LinkedIn post that is built around your identity. Now, if you don't have a website, this is going to be a limitation for you. But if you have a website, I think I would really highly recommend trying it and seeing what it comes up with. And it also has introduced, just in the last 2 months, a photo shoot tool. So if you have a product, you can take a cell phone picture of your product. It doesn't have to be a great example, and I'll I'll hopefully try and do a demonstration of this shortly. That will then recreate it using AI in a studio setting, a lifestyle setting, or an in-use setting. And we'll try this with Jillian's brand in a photo that I've uploaded just to see, just to demonstrate how it works. You have to remember, though, that this is a tool and it's a co-pilot. It's not an autopilot, so you can't just dump information in and forget it. You have to check its output. You have to validate and verify. And when it creates some content for you, you have to validate it. You have to make sure that what it's saying, it's inferring about your content is actually accurate. So I'm going to jump out of this screen share and I'm going to go to, again, or perhaps risky and live demo of Pomelli. This is what Pomelli looks like. When you go to their website, it's just labs.google.com, Pomelli. And I think I have Jennifer McCurdy. Oops, there, sorry. This is what it looks like. I didn't press share. I think I have Jennifer McCurdy in the audience today. I'm wondering, Jennifer, would it be okay for me to use your website from the St. Albert Sturgeon Community Foundation as an example of how Google moves through this? If you can give me a thumbs up or an indication in the chat. Yes, she says yes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy Jennifer's URL into Pomelli. And then while it's doing, oops, I'm going to go back. Oh, shoot. I don't want to clear all my I thought I could do them simultaneously. Okay, I'm going to come back to that, Jennifer. What I've done yesterday is I took Jillian's information from Compassion Center and I loaded it in. It takes a few minutes to complete, and we'll get back to demonstrating that for Jennifer in a moment. But this is what uh, oh, I can't get to that tab now, unfortunately. This is what the Pomelli tool was able to extract from Jillian's URL. It grabbed her logo, it grabbed the fonts, it grabbed the color schemes with the hex codes, it grabbed a tagline, the brand values, and these are editable, by the way. You could go in and edit, Jillian. Brand aesthetic, some descriptors for that, a business overview, and then it grabbed images. Okay, and so now next we'll use your business data to generate social media campaigns. I'm just going to say looks good. And then it says this brings you a chat interface. And now it says describe the campaign you want to create. So I'm going to say an Instagram. Dude, I can't spell Instagram. Post regarding is that spelled right? Reiki? Okay. And now I'm going to specify an aspect ratio. You can do a story, a 9:16, or a 1:1, or a social feed, and they have different aspects ratios that they support. I'm just going to ask it to generate some ideas. And the AI is working now with Jillian's content to create some suggestions or some ideas for an Instagram post regarding Reiki. And meanwhile, it's already created some suggestions based on the business DNA. So here's one called 4 Paths to Inner Peace. And if we zoom in on this, what it's created based on the brand DNA from Jillian's website is this post. And I can add a call to action. And once I have something that I'm satisfied with, I can download it and then I can post that on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it is that I have an audience that I'm accustomed to posting with. You can see that it says about 2 minutes left. It doesn't take that long, but now there's a call to action button that says begin your journey, which would link back to Jillian's website, and there may be some additional setup that was required. And now if we go back here, there's some other examples, and yeah, Reiki, Pure Vice. So this is the one that it created, I think, based on my prompt. And I just wanted to, I mentioned the photo shoot feature that they only recently introduced. What I'm going to do is this is showing some images. Where do I add the photo? Okay, so I'm going to add an image that I have on my. Okay, so this is a really like crappy picture I took of a cup in my kitchen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that image using Jillian's context, and I'm going to say put this into a this is a really dumb prompt, but let's see what it comes up with. So it's taken that really boring picture of my cup in my kitchen and it's turned it into a visual asset that's relevant to a type of business, Jillian's type of business, and it's put it into a context and in a setting that I could use in a social media post. And I can download this or I can edit it and work with it. It's given me 4 options of my dog coffee cup that I can use. Okay. So now I'm going to jump out of this. This is I'm going to go back and I'm going to go back to Pomelli and go back here. And now I'm going to grab, just so that you see the copy. Reset via business DNA. I'm going to delete all of those. And I'm going to say, this is now with Jennifer McCurdy's website. And it's gone off and it's gathering the colors. It's studying brand values. It's determining your visual aesthetic, picking brand fonts, pulling images. It says 5 minutes left, but I hope it won't take that long. This is why I preloaded Jillian's website into the tool before we got started. I thought I could jump to that and in a separate window do this, but it apparently won't let me do that. So Jillian, if you can respond in the chat, what did you think of what you saw from Pomelli for your business? Okay, so can you see this on the screen, Jennifer? This is what it has extracted in about 2 minutes from your website about your business DNA. It's pulled photographs of, I assume, some of your key people and board members, some imagery, your logo, you have your fonts and brand values, your tagline, your brand aesthetic. the business overview. And if I say looks good, it will now generate some suggestions just based on your business DNA. And in a similar way to what I just demonstrated for Jillian's organization, this will pre-create some visual assets that you could use in your social media campaigns quickly. And here's the one. Here's 3 suggestions that are based on the business DNA from the Community Foundation. So let's just take a closer look at one of those. Right, rooted in our community, building a lasting legacy. These are, and likewise, you can add a photo and you can have it then manipulate or build those with those tools. So anyway, that's a quick demonstration of Pomelli. I hope that that's going to be something that you explore and experiment a little bit with. I've been really impressed with what it can produce. And like I said, you can produce assets, visual assets that are immediately useful in a variety of formats for LinkedIn or Facebook or uh, Instagram is the other one I was trying to remember. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Rachel. And Rachel's going to get into lead the conversation on a deep research prompt that we have. And we've got an example as well from Jillian's business that we want to share with you. So Rachel, take it away.
All righty, let me check. Yes, might be on as well. There we go. All right, thanks, Jeff. We've got some really exciting stuff coming through. It's been a good session so far, guys. We've learned about our ideal customer profile. We've learned how to dial in our Google business profile, how to even pull out information using Pomelli based on our website, and make sure those things are dialed in. But now, what about the bigger picture? You know, your competitors, the market trends, maybe the things that can be a little bit difficult to think of when you've been sitting in the weeds and then you need to switch from being, you know, on the ground level to thinking about your long-term strategy or your medium or even your short-term strategy about what's going on in your sector. Well, this is where AI can go from an assistant to a strategist. And so I want to show you something that Jeff was able to generate for Jillian's business. This is a comprehensive growth strategy and market intelligence analysis for Jillian's Compassion Center. It includes a strategic overview of St. Albert Wellness ecosystem. It includes a lot of pieces. But I want to show you this report that is essentially, you know, if Jillian had to commission it, it would have taken, you know, thousands of dollars and probably, you know, quite a bit of time. And this is the kind of thing that you can generate. And I'll show the prompt at the end, but you can generate quickly and easily on the spot in probably 10, 15 minutes about your business. And again, it drives information for you. It gives you readily actionable steps. And it provides you with high quality content again for creating social media posts and doing, you know, other actions and taking steps that you need with your business. So let's go ahead and look at this. And I want to show you the post at the end. I want to kind of wow you with the stuff that has been created here and then show you how easy it was to create and generate this information. So for Jillian's business, the first thing that I want to highlight is that it's done a competitive landscaping. So if Jillian wants to look out at St. Albert and understand, you know, who are the other people operating in this space, where does she sort of stand up and rank? What are they doing? It's actually gone through and looked through, you know, economic and market conditions for St. Albert just at a base level so that she has something to compare through, but market intelligence and competitive dynamics. So it's shown 3 businesses that are similar, some of the things, the services that they offer, the pricing, some of their strengths and weaknesses, so that she can go through and look at those other businesses in her space and understand what direction she might want to move in light of that information. So again, if you were to do this on your own, you would have to be going through, you know, Google Documents, you'd have to look them up. with the right prompt that we'll show at the end, it's going to do these things for you. Okay. Another thing I
Cool.
want to briefly call attention to is that these are all referenced. So if I go down to the bottom, part of the prompt that we included, and this is really important, were references showing where this information came from so that you know that it's high quality information. It's all publicly available information if you wanted to, other than your ICP, obviously. If you wanted to feed this off of maybe some industry specific information that you have access to by being part of oh, sorry, I'll give this to Jeff. It looks like Jeff has a comment to make as well.
No, I just wanted to ask Rachel if you wouldn't mind increasing the zoom on your screen to 125%. My eyes are not what they used to be. There we go.
Absolutely.
That's better. Or maybe
There we
even
go.
maybe even a little bit. Yeah, makes it easier for me to read. Thank you.
Yep,
But
absolutely.
I was just going to say the only Jillian's ideal customer profile was one of the attachments. So this is a research report that is based on and grounded in her ideal customer profile, which adds to the relevance of it for her purposes. So I don't know. I think you mentioned it, but I wanted to really emphasize that that's an important piece here. And Rachel was sharing with you the number of sources in the generation of this report. Uh, the deep research tool accessed about 89, I think it was 89 separate websites and sources. There's 30 some, 40 some that are actually cited in the report, but it accessed more than that in its research before it kind of finalized its analysis. Anyway, so sorry to interrupt, Rachel. Carry
All
on.
good. Those are great things to know so that we, understand the depth of research that was done here. In addition to the competitive landscape, we have market headwinds and tailwinds. So understanding, direction, um, you can look at this data and get a better sense from perspectives that you might be looking for, but not have the time yourself to go out and research. It's put this all together for you to quickly go ahead and take a look at the trends in the business, things that are going on. And I did mention that this is publicly available data. Just to finish off that idea, if you had specific industry related data from, groups that you're a part of, you could add it to the prompt as well and then get even more detailed information. To Jeff's point that the ICP was part of the original prompt that we'll show at the end, it's actually gone ahead and taken the ICP that Jillian provided us with, looked at it from a market perspective, and refined some of those customer profiles to make them even stronger from the market perspective. So, for example, Claire, one of the people from the ICP, is typically a professional caregiver. Maybe it's somebody with a life or health transition, carrying emotional heaviness. The original profile is strong, but there are more refinements that can be added. So, for example, nervous system safety is something that's emerged out of the market trends that might really apply to Claire's scenario that Jillian might be able to add to improve that ICP. Kind of to Jennifer's point earlier, and what I mentioned is this can be a living thing and a changing thing that can be improved based on the content that you have, that you provide when it's high quality content. So again, there's potential refinements to the ICP that have been suggested here. And I'm going a little quickly just to keep an eye on our time. But the other thing that I really want to focus on here is that it's actually giving you a strategic and tactical marketing plan in the 30, 60, and 90-day time range. And so similar to some of the things that Jeff has suggested, you can see it touches on these, the Google Business Profile. And we've given you tools that you can use to really dial these in. But this has market-based suggestions for your industry that you can boots to the ground, go out and start doing right away. And I think that's a great thing for consistency. Sometimes it can be really hard to stay on top of these things, to know what the right next step is. This way, on the days where it's difficult or when you're not sure, you have a solid source of information where you can just go out and make the post, go out and improve your business profile, and know that it's dialed in specifically to your business. One great example of that is CASL compliance. So Canada has anti-spam legislation, and that's included in, because you're going to be sending out marketing communications, that CASL compliant email infrastructure is included in this 90-day plan of how you can start building the foundations of your business in a way that works, particularly according to Canada's rules and regulations. Again, you do also have to, oh, sorry, Jeff, did you have your hand up?
Nope. Nope.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Okay. All right. You do also have to use your own expertise. And so, as we talked about in session one, with anything that's AI generated, even though they're great ideas, you are responsible for the output and the things that put out. You can't say, "Oh my goodness, AI generated this suggestion for me, and it doesn't include, a particular something." You're putting that content out, so you do want to make sure that it is compliant within your industry. The sources here very much help you to ensure that we've checked in the suggestions that are good that have been generated by AI. But there is also, you want to use your own expertise and the common sense checks to make sure that this is working for you, in addition to the things that I have provided. However, all right, so if I go down, so again, these are very actionable steps. Automate your integration with the free social media calendar, free social media scheduler. And so this is a really well laid out 30, 60, 90-day plan to increase and improve your marketing strategy, all tailored to Jillian's business. And it even talks about, I think if I scroll down, I can see it. Oh yeah, economic resilience strategy for St. Albert. So all the things that, you would pay somebody to look at the market, you would take hours doing this research yourself. You might spend thousands of dollars on a research and a document that is tailored to your business. You can generate from this very simple prompt. And this is something that we'll share with you so that you can do this specifically for your business. Guys, this is the size of the prompt that Jeff used to build this. It's model agnostic. You could use it with Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT, or I'm not going to, you could use it with DeepSeek if you wanted to. But
Zoom in.
yes, absolutely. There we go. All you have to do is swap out the yellow sections for the things that are relevant to your business. So you would say, act as a senior growth strategist and market researcher, conduct deep research analysis for my business based on your website, and a quick description of your website. Here are some context and constraints the ones that we added. If you have additional ones, you could add them. For example, being a solo entrepreneur, being a micro business, your specific marketing budget, that 30, 60, 90-day plan and those action steps are specifically tailored to a $0 budget, which is what we picked, and only having 2 hours per week to spend on marketing. Optional here as well, as Jeff mentioned, is attaching the ICP. If you have it, you would attach it. If you don't have an ICP, the prompt's instructions are to actually generate one. So we put out one for you that's done. And we told it to perform a competitive landscape analysis, identify, market headwinds and tailwinds. And so all of the things that you see in that prompt are laid out in this short amount of text. If you wanted to add something specific, you could, maybe you have a very specific interest that you're looking for your business. Maybe it's growth, maybe it's, expansion, maybe it's reducing churn. You could add those things in as well. But we'll be providing you with this prompt so that you can run it for your business and create your own marketing specific plan to you.
Okay.
All right.
Can you, Jillian, can we ask you to unmute and give us, I shared this report that Rachel was just describing with you yesterday. Can you give us your reaction to what you received and you're based on your review of it?
Yeah. Hi, Jeff, and hi, Rachel. Yeah, I was just amazed at how easy and how concise and how it brought up things that I hadn't even thought of so quickly and so easily. For a small business like me, I am a solo entrepreneur. It is just me. I don't have a marketing budget at this time, but this has given me a wealth of things to go through. Very, very comprehensive. And I would say that this was honestly more helpful to me than when I actually spent a couple $1,000s to have someone go through my website and try to optimize it for search like engine optimization about a year ago. I got nothing from that. I got 10 times more from this. So very helpful. Yeah, I would love to, if you download that last document you showed us so we can, keep doing that to keep it current. But yeah, absolutely just wonderful.
Good. And Jillian, what was your sense of I think you made a comment. By the way, Jennifer McCurdy asked, which AI program do you use, that prompt that Rachel shared? you can use that prompt. It's platform agnostic. Any AI model, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, even Perplexity, anything with a deep research mode, and you have to select the deep research mode when you paste that prompt in and customize it, but any of them will work. And secondly, I just wanted, while you're still on the line there, Jillian, your reaction to Pomelli and what it was able to extract from your site, your brand values, and your DNA. Did you see some usable tools there for what you might want to use for social media content?
Yeah, I really did see some things that I would like to use. Just, how it even did like the 4-page kind of story, or even just, I know it's simple, but bringing up the brand colors and the exact colors that they were. Just if I do sometimes go to wellness fairs and print things, to have the brand colors consistent, but also to have those, how you showed us that you can do those posts and how you can edit them way better than the 20 minutes I spend per post. And yeah, just so cool how you can. So I found that really, really helpful.
Good.
Yeah, so I was really impressed with Pompeii and how it did that.
Great. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jillian. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you for everything.
Awesome. Great feedback, Jillian. Yeah, and hopefully there's one other thing that I want to show, and I'm going to go over this quickly, but that is once you have this content, once you have your ICP, once you have your deep market research, how can we create something like a content calendar that gives us real suggestions for things that we can post on social media so that it turns from a long, complicated process to something optimized? So as you can see, I'm using Claude for this. I created a new project. I uploaded both the market research and the ICP that was fully completed into the project files. And because I don't think I have time to go over the whole thing live, I'm just going to walk really quickly through the process that I did when I was testing this out. And the key thing to remember here is that this was a bit of an iterative process. Again, all of these prompts will be provided to you, but based on that content, I asked for some research to begin with. When you're sitting there wondering about what kind of social media posts to do, AI is a great tool to just provide you with some ideas. So all I said here was based on the market research, pull out top 8 to 10 trends, topics, or themes that are relevant to my business, the Compassionate Care Center, and my ideal customer right now, and give me a one-line explanation for why it would resonate. So it's given me 10 possible trends and themes that I can work with. And now all I have to do is read through these and pick the ones that appeal to me. Or maybe I could riff off of them and say, I like number 1 and I prefer it from this angle. And so what I did from there is I picked several of these themes that really appealed. I think I picked 1, 3, 4, 7, and 9. So nervous system regulation, analog wellness and logging off, high functioning burnout as an identity. So I went through and picked some of these. And then I said, using the topics that appealed the most to me, and this is your human in the loop, generate 12 to 15 content ideas for the Compassion Center for next month. And for each idea, give me, this is just a little bit of a marketing way of looking at it. There's the educate angle, the relate angle, the offer, and the prove angle. So I've used that paradigm, which will be in the document that I provide later. And I've offered it some posts, some post formats that, Jillian might use as a business. Social media post, blog post, email, Google business profile, etc. So now, notice I haven't jumped straight to generating the content. I've just generated ideas for a post. Again, this gives me the opportunity to be the human in the loop, dial it in, and make sure that the output of the post is exactly the one that not just matches my profile, but also matches what I want to see and what I would like to see. So again, it's ideated around different formats and different post types. And then once I selected them, I've selected the ones that I liked. I've asked for full copy in, my voice and tone. I've asked for it to be adapted for the platform, and I'll give you this full prompt as well. And from that, now based on the content that we provided and based on that really short iteration of an ideate, a user choice, and then creating the full content for the pieces that you liked, it's generated this full monthly content pack. And so now your marketing for the next month is set it and forget it for the most part. It shows you how to use this. Each content piece has the full copy that you can just copy and paste. It has the recommended platform, a time of day that would likely appeal to your ideal audience. It has hashtags to use, a call to action, and even ways that you can repurpose this content. So you can see here, there's the full copy. This is a relate post, so people can relate to this kind of content and understand if your business matches their profile, their aesthetic. This is an Instagram post. This is the platform where you'll be posting and sort of the ideology for it and the time of day and hashtags. And now you have scheduled out across the month 8 posts that you can make to maintain a schedule. And now this is the work of 2 to 3 minutes, per day or per time that you want to make a post. No worrying, no wondering if it's dialed in, just straight copy and paste, a little bit of dial in, and you're ready to go. All generated high quality because we put in the work on the ICP and we put in the work on that great marketing research document. All right. So, okay, great. I came in at time. Hopefully I covered all the important things. The last thing that I want to point out is that, as I mentioned, this content will be made available to you. We have a website where you can find this. It's sacaiforall.vercel.app. I'll post that for you guys. If you go over to the resource hub, there's actually just a quick code. It's AI for all 2026, and we'll make that available to you as well. And if you hit access to resources, all of the things that we've talked about from the past session, as well as the content that we've talked about today, those profiles, those PDF downloads, those worksheets will be available. We talked about AI safety guardrails. You can go back and see exactly what those are if you're wondering. You can download the worksheets that we had today, and it's all laid out for you to be very easy to set up with platform-specific instructions. Alrighty. So I'll share that in the chat. And I'm going to stop my share. That brings me to the end of the content that I wanted to get to today. I think Bhavneet has a survey still to fill out, so I'll pass it over to Jeff or Bhavneet to talk about that.
Yeah, and Bhavneet, are you there? Can you put, oh, there it is. You have that's the link to the app and the code for accessing the resources. And Bhavneet, are you in the audience still? Can you post the link to the survey for people to complete? We're running right 1 minute shy of 11 o'clock. We want to give you a bit of time to complete that survey because that's really helpful for us to get your reaction to what we provided today and what we will do next time. Okay, is Bhavneet there? I guess not. I have to go to my email and get the.
I think I have the link.
Oh, you have the link?
I think I
Okay.
posted it. I think I pasted
Okay.
it.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
If you could, the link is to a Google form. It's a survey for this session. It's really important that we get feedback from as many of you as possible. We have some requirements from our grant provider that we need to report on for the continuation of this program. And it's also important for soliciting ideas. You may want to have a focus that's different than what we've been paying attention to. And so we want to build that into the next session. So please click on that link, fill out that survey form and submit it so that we can aggregate that information as we need to. And I'd like to, while you're doing that, open the floor to any questions and comments from anybody from the content for today. The floor is open.
I'm just wondering, so is this a set of like different courses that you're doing? So is there a next one planned already?
Yes.
And how do
Yes.
we find those?
Okay, so they will all be listed on the St. Albert and District Chamber of Commerce events website.
Okay.
The next one is in April. I don't have the date right in front of me. And the focus of the next one is reducing the admin burden. So some of the routine drudgery that comes along with running a small business. That's going to be the focus of our next session, using AI to get back time that you have that you burn up in administration. There's the St. Albert Comms link to the next session. AI is for killing the admin drudgery. Thank you very much for sharing that. And then the next, I can't remember what the topic of the next one is, and we're kind of dynamically adjusting this as we go along, and that's why the survey is so important. You might come up with answers in that survey today that cause us to sit back and change course. I think the one for next month is set, but we have some flexibility, and with Shelley's approval, we can adjust the schedule and planning. Yeah. Yeah, May is for builders and professionals. That's two of our key audiences in St. Albert, construction and also professional services. So that's the focus of the session in May. So, other questions or comments?
Sorry, just me again. One thing that I'll probably put this in the survey too, is I think someone else mentioned this, is that this was so much information, especially for us that are new to this. I feel like personally for me, this could have been expanded into a little bit more time, just to have some time to kind of wrap our heads around it or go a little slower or kind of, yeah. But I just feel like a little bit more time next time would be ideal for me. I don't know if other people felt the same way.
Okay. What I can do is offer some additional time offline in between sessions. As I mentioned, if you need some assistance with getting your Google Business profile optimized or set up, I'm available pretty flexibly for 30 minutes here and there. Just send me an email and we'll book a time. If you want to dig further into specifics, Jillian, on some of what we provided you today, just send me an email and myself or one of our team will follow up with you and spend some time with you. Okay. It's
Okay,
just
thank you, Jeff. I really, really appreciate what you do. You guys are gold. I love it. And I will definitely be following up with this. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do.
You're welcome. And um, in terms of more time for these events, an hour and a half is pretty much, I think, a realistic time frame for us. But we'll take that under advisement as well and see what else we can come up with. Oh, and I had a question from Amber. Do you have a preferred AI tool that you're using, and do you use different tools for different things? Um, you know what? This is such a fast-moving space. I use all of the tools. I use Claude. I use Gemini. I use ChatGPT. I use Perplexity for certain things. And basically, what I've learned is that they each have some strengths and some weaknesses. But that I'm kind of a geek on this stuff, and I'm a tinkerer and experimenter. For most people, I think picking one tool, and they've all become very, very good, very capable tools. If you pick one, I think that's better than bouncing around amongst many. If you happen to have a Gmail address, using Gemini makes a lot of sense because it works very well within that whole ecosystem. A good general purpose tool is ChatGPT. Claude is recognized for being a super powerful tool for coding. I don't do coding, but if I did, I'd probably try using Code or Claude. And Claude is also recognized as a really, really good writer in terms of actual writing prose, something for publication, less generic than some of the other tools. So there's no real one answer. There's no one best tool. It has to do with what system you're comfortable with. If you're a Microsoft Office and user and part of that ecosystem, then Microsoft's Copilot has grown a lot in its capability, and it's based on the models underlying ChatGPT. So it's also very capable. I don't tend to use those because I've got others that I focus on. Okay. Other comments or questions? Has everybody filled out that survey? Have you been doing that while we've been closing here? I hope so, because we will need to have that information from you. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I think we are 6 minutes past 11 o'clock, so we'll call it a morning. I thank you for your time and attention. And as I said, questions, concerns, comments, please just email me. My last name, UHLICH at augmentusconsulting.com, and I will field the question or refer it to Rachel or Neat or Perry or Jolant as needed, and we will get back to you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time.